Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Under the creative leadership of Triple H, WWE is just weeks away from WrestleMania 41. This year's show of shows is already stacked with 4 world title matches made official. Additionally, more matches are expected to be added to the WrestleMania 41 card. Amid this, it appears that Triple H may punish former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Drew McIntyre for his recent actions. This could even lead to the game taking the Scottish Warrior off TV, as he recently aired his frustration on camera. This happened when McIntyre was asked about his WrestleMania match this year in comparison to other Mania matches he had in the past by Adam Glenn. The Scottish Warrior acknowledged that he was unhappy about not being in a world title match at shows of the shows. Further, he cited his rivalry with CM Punk last year, where he claimed he had to put in 90% of the work. McIntyre asserted that he would try his best to deliver a great WrestleMania match this year, too, and to have a proper storyline arc for the bout. Airing his frustration on camera could lead to Drew facing consequences, especially if Triple H punishes him and takes him off television. However, as WrestleMania is on the horizon and Drew McIntyre has a growing rivalry with Damian Priest on SmackDown, it's unlikely that Triple H will punish Drew for his actions. It remains to be seen how McIntyre will be booked by the King of the Kings at WrestleMania following the former world champion's comments. Drew McIntyre is not happy with his WrestleMania plans under the Triple H regime. According to a report by Mail Sport, the potential WrestleMania match between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest is considered a nothing match backstage. Further, backstage sources also disclose that the Scottish Warrior is not happy with his WrestleMania plans, and he believes that he deserves a more prominent feud following a massive 2024. Many fans on the internet are also of the opinion that McIntyre's booking for WrestleMania 41 isn't as expected. The WWE Universe believes that the Scottish Warrior deserves to be booked better than having a throwaway match against Damian Priest. Drew's inclusion in a world title match only seems possible post-WrestleMania 41, given his rivalry with Damian Priest. In the ever-evolving world of WWE, tensions run high both inside and outside the ring. Superstars who feel overlooked, mistreated, or underutilized often air their grievances, sometimes privately and other times, quite publicly. However, history has shown that publicly expressing frustration rarely sits well with WWE management. The latest rumor circling the wrestling world is that a former WWE World Heavyweight Champion may be facing consequences for voicing his displeasure. Reports suggest that Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, is considering taking this top-tier superstar off television indefinitely as a form of disciplinary action. But who is the former champion in question? What led to this frustration? And just how far is Triple H willing to go in enforcing his authority? Let's break it all down. The superstar in the hot seat. According to multiple backstage sources, the superstar in question is none other than Seth Rollins. A multi-time world champion, Rollins has been one of WWE's most consistent performers for over a decade. However, his frustration has reportedly reached a boiling point in recent weeks. Insiders claim that Rollins has been vocal about his creative direction, lack of main event status in recent months, and uncertainty surrounding his future as a top guy in WWE. While he has continued to be a workhorse, Rollins allegedly believes that his hard work is not being rewarded as it should be. Adding fuel to the fire, Rollins was conspicuously absent from major plans heading into Survivor Series, despite previously being the face of the World Heavyweight Championship scene. His recent promos have also carried a real-life frustration tone, making fans wonder if he's walking a thin line with WWE higher-ups. The moment that crossed the line? It's no secret that WWE superstars are often given creative freedom in their promos, but there's a fine line between blurring reality and outright going off-script. Rollins might have crossed that line during a recent Live segment. During an unplanned moment on Monday Night Raw, Rollins took the mic and went on a passionate rant about how he had carried the company for years but was now being pushed aside for other stars. While he never directly mentioned Triple H, he made statements implying that he was frustrated with the company's decision-making. His comments, reportedly not part of the original script, left many wondering if this was a work or a shoot. However, WWE officials backstage were said to be furious that Rollins took liberties with his promo and aired his real-life frustrations on live television. Now, it appears that WWE might be looking to make an example out of him. Triple H's potential response. If history tells us anything, Triple H does not take well to public criticism. While he has shown himself to be more flexible than Vince McMahon in handling talent issues, he still operates with a strong sense of authority. Sources within WWE claim that Triple H is considering pulling Rollins off television as a form of punishment. The idea would be to cool down the situation and send a message to other talent that unapproved outbursts won't be tolerated. But would WWE actually bench one of its most popular stars? There are several possible punishments being discussed internally. An indefinite suspension. Rollins could be taken off TV for several weeks with no explanation. This would serve as a warning to other superstars while allowing the company to decide on his long-term creative direction. Dropping Rollins down the card. Instead of outright removing him, WWE may simply reduce his role, keeping him in the mid-card rather than allowing him to headline major events. Forcing Rollins into a heel turn as punishment. WWE could take a different approach and use his real-life frustration to turn him into an unhinged, bitter heel. This would allow him to remain on TV while channeling his frustrations into a storyline. A private meeting with Triple H. Some believe that rather than a public punishment, Triple H and Rollins will have a behind-the-scenes discussion to clear the air. This would allow for a resolution without any drastic measures. At this point, WWE has not officially announced any disciplinary action, but if Rollins remains absent from TV in the coming weeks, the rumors may prove to be true. Backlash from fans and the locker room. The idea of punishing Seth Rollins isn't sitting well with many within the WWE universe. Fans argue that Rollins has been one of the company's most loyal and consistent performers, and if he is frustrated, there might be some truth to his complaints. On social media, some fans have already voiced their support for Rollins, calling out WWE for failing to properly use one of its best in-ring talents. Others believe this could lead to a Rollins departure from WWE if he feels too restricted creatively. Even within the WWE locker room, there is a divide. Some superstars reportedly agree with Rollins' frustrations but are too afraid to speak up. Others believe that airing grievances publicly is unprofessional and should be handled internally. Regardless, this situation has created an unnecessary distraction for WWE heading into one of its most important seasons. What's next for Seth Rollins? If Rollins is taken off TV, the big question is for how long? WWE cannot afford to keep him away indefinitely, especially with upcoming marquee events where his presence would be valuable. If WWE decides to embrace the controversy, Rollins could return with an even bigger chip on his shoulder, fully leaning into his frustrations to fuel a new, aggressive character. Alternatively, WWE might try to smooth things over behind the scenes and reintegrate him without further incident. As of now, Triple H remains silent on the matter, but all eyes will be on Raw to see if Rollins appears. If he doesn't, it could be a clear sign that WWE is making a statement. Final thoughts. WWE has always had a complicated relationship with outspoken superstars. Whether it was CM Punk, Stone Cold Steve Austin, or even Sasha Banks, those who voice their frustrations often walk a fine line between standing up for themselves and facing the wrath of management. Seth Rollins is undeniably one of WWE's biggest stars, and his absence from television would leave a noticeable void. But if Triple H does decide to punish him, it will serve as a stark reminder that even top stars are not immune to repercussions. Will this lead to a renewed push for Rollins, or will it push him closer to the exit door? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, this is a storyline, real or not, that fans will be watching closely. Triple H issues a message ahead of WWE Raw. WWE is currently at its peak, and under Triple H's creative regime, fans have been enjoying major international events. Presently, the Stamford-based promotion is on an international tour ahead of WrestleMania 41. The latest episode of Friday Night SmackDown emanated from Barcelona, Spain, and the fans in the arena made the entire atmosphere more memorable with the deafening cheers and boos throughout the show. Taking to his X handle, the chief content officer of WWE, Triple H, expressed his gratitude to the Barcelona fans for the massive reception in their city and urged Brussels fans to get ready for the show, the host city of the upcoming episode of Raw. Barcelona was incredible, passionate, electric, and loud. Brussels, you're up next. See you at WWE Raw, wrote Triple H. The upcoming edition of the Monday Night Show is going to be intriguing as it will have John Cena and Cody Rhodes under the same roof for the first time since Cena's heel turn, along with much more. Triple H announced the first PLE after WrestleMania 41. With so much happening, from John Cena's heel turn to the saga involving Roman Reigns, CM Punk, And Seth Rollins, the anticipation for WrestleMania 41 has peaked. Each week, the card continues to take shape for the show of shows. Amid the hype for the Showcase of the Immortals, the CCO announced the first premium live event following WrestleMania 41, Backlash 2025. It will take place on May 10 from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Hyping the 2025 Backlash PLE as the aftermath of Mania, the game shared the promotional video on his official X/Twitter account. With WrestleMania 41 on the horizon, it will be interesting to see what plans the Triple H-led creative team has for the wrestling juggernaut in the coming months. As the anticipation for Monday Night Raw reached a fever pitch, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H took to social media with a cryptic yet powerful message. Tonight's #Raw will be one to remember. Nothing stays the same forever. Expect the unexpected. With just a few words, Triple H sent the WWE Universe into a frenzy, igniting speculation about what major surprises could be in store for Raw. Fans, analysts, and even WWE superstars themselves scrambled to decode the game's message. Was a shocking return on the horizon? A major title change? A game-changing announcement? One thing was clear, when Triple H speaks, the WWE landscape tends to shift in dramatic fashion. A locker room on edge. Backstage, WWE Raw superstars were just as uncertain as the fans. Reports suggested that key talent had been called into private meetings with Triple H throughout the weekend, and the rumor mill was running wild. Former WWE champion Seth Rollins was spotted arriving early to the arena, a serious expression on his face. When asked by a WWE interviewer about Triple H's message, Rollins smirked and simply said, "He's not the type to bluff. If the game says expect the unexpected, then something big is about to go down." Others, like Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, seemed unfazed. "I don't care what happens," she told Kathy Kelly. "I'll still be the most dominant force on Raw." However, a sense of unease lingered. Veterans like Randy Orton and The Miz were noticeably quiet, as if they had been tipped off to something major brewing behind the scenes. Rumors swirling. With Triple H's words fueling excitement, multiple rumors began circulating online. Could this be the night CM Punk made his shocking return after his controversial WWE exit years ago? Was a top NXT star, perhaps Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes, set to debut? Could the Bloodline extend their dominance to Raw with a major new member? Another major theory involved the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins had successfully defended his title at Crown Jewel, but with Damian Priest still holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, was Triple H hinting at a potential cash-in? Meanwhile, whispers of a returning legend, possibly John Cena or The Rock, gained traction. The timing aligned perfectly, especially with Survivor Series on the horizon. The opening segment shakes the WWE Universe. As Monday Night Raw finally went live, the energy in the arena was electric. Fans packed the venue, hanging on every moment, waiting for Triple H's cryptic promise to come to life. The opening segment did not disappoint. The signature sound of "Time to Play the Game" blasted through the speakers, and Triple H himself walked out to an overwhelming ovation. Dressed in his signature suit, he looked around the crowd, smirking as the Triple H chants rained down. "Tonight," he began, pausing to let the crowd settle, "everything changes." Before he could continue, a familiar but shocking entrance theme hit. Cult of Personality by Living Colour. The arena erupted as CM Punk, the best in the world, stepped onto the Raw stage for the first time in nearly a decade. Fans were in disbelief. Triple H stood in the ring, expression unreadable, as Punk took in the moment, smirking at the crowd's thunderous reaction. After soaking in the adulation, Punk made his way to the ring, microphone in hand. "I bet none of you saw this coming," Punk said, grinning. "I know some of you might still be mad at me. Hell, I was mad at myself for a long time. But time heals all wounds, and if there's one thing I've learned, never say never in WWE." He turned to Triple H, their history filled with real-life tension. The Game, ever the professional, extended his hand. After a dramatic pause, Punk shook it, marking a shocking reconciliation and the beginning of a new chapter. The WWE Universe had officially lost its mind. The fallout begins. With CM Punk back in the mix, the rest of Raw was thrown into chaos. Seth Rollins, visibly furious backstage, refused to comment. Rumors of real-life tension between him and Punk only made this development more intriguing. Damian Priest eased a cash-in, eyeing the chaos as a potential opportunity to strike. Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and Drew McIntyre all had their eyes on Punk, wondering what his return meant for the main event scene. Meanwhile, Punk wasted no time making an impact. Later that night, he interrupted Rollins during his championship match against Finn Balor, setting the stage for a long-awaited rivalry that had fans buzzing. Triple H's plan comes to life. As Raw went off the air, Triple H stood in gorilla position, watching the carnage unfold with a satisfied expression. He had delivered exactly what he promised, something unexpected, something unforgettable. With CM Punk back, the WWE landscape had shifted in a way no one saw coming. But knowing Triple H, this was only the beginning. And as fans debated, speculated, and braced for what was next, one thing was clear: the new era of WWE had just begun.